This is The Gorge. This is a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a game or a game-related topic. The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com/thegorgepodcast. Sara, what are we talking about this week?
I don't actually know what we're talking about this week, Benjamin. What are we talking about this week?
We are taking a break from our usual, in-depth, super serious discussion stuff that we are known to have, our great philosophical, discussions.
About how Gaius is King Mickey.
We're gonna take it easy this week, and we're just gonna look at some cartoon characters.
Okay.
Some mascots.
Oh, boy.
Some, there've been some good, there've been some bad.
Oh, boy. You know how much I love mascot characters.
So, I created a folder of over 30 images.
Oh boy.
Some of the more recognizable and some of the more obscure ones that are very clear rip-offs of existing, of franchise and stuff. We kind of talked about this when we did our pre-internet culture discussion.
Right.
Where we talked about how, there are certain mascot characters that were, made to, make fun of, Mario and Sonic, and it's
right.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't try that hard, you just kind of made, it's like a cartoon boy, and that was kind of it, yeah. There's a lot of, really weird mascot. I've been drinking in preparation for this, so... Yeah, because I kind of knew this was happening, but I also kind of hate it. But but hey, it's fine.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. I love terrible cartoon characters.
So, I'm going to put this in the description.
Yep.
It'll be the link for the folder that all the images are stored in so that you can kind of follow along. If you are listening to this on iTunes, then, I don't know, wait until you can get home to do it, or just, we'll say their names, so, if you are familiar with video games, you'll know who they are.
Right.
But yeah, this is just a fun April Fool's episode of us just goofing off.
Shit-talking mascots, which is my favorite.
So, go ahead and open that folder, and go ahead and open up the first image in it.
It's a Mario.
It's Mario.
It's a Mario. The most recognizable.
Yeah, he's the OG, he's Mr. Video Game.
Right, the video game man. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Mario's whole design is based entirely off of graphical imitations for the NES.
Actually for the old arcade machine.
Yeah.
Because obviously arcade, Mario first showed up in the old Donkey Kong arcade game, and he had his design there too. So that's really where it kind of started, was the limitations, not even of the NES, but of the machine, the old cabinet.
Yeah. The hat was so that they didn't have to animate hair.
Right.
The mustache and big nose to denote his face. The overalls to show where his arms are. The gloves for show where his hands are. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that.
It's funny how, the most iconic, mascot design in video games kind of happened because of technical limitations. It had nothing to do with, what was good design at the time. It was all just, we need to make this character recognizable on a screen with old 8-bit graphics. I think it's neat.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing with, you think about, Mickey Mouse, or old cartoon characters wear the white gloves because, you needed to denote where their hands were. Right,
yeah, and, it's funny, what it was during, the Odyssey launch window where Nintendo was like, Mario is a 26-year-old man. I'm like, fuck you! Don't lie to me, Nintendo!
No, but if you take the mustache off...
he looks like a baby, but are you telling me...
He does look 26.
Are you telling me that Mario is like my hipster younger brother who grew a mustache just because he thought it'd be stupid funny? Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mario drinks craft beer exclusively.
I hate it. Also, I hate that in this image you've linked me, Mario's eyebrows and mustache are a different color than his hair.
Yeah, I never understood why that was, but yeah, he always had, like, brown hair and then, like, a black mustache and eyebrows. I've never...
Yeah.
Does Mario dye his hair?
Does Mario... No, the better question is, does Mario dye his eyebrows and mustache?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Real trendy. What's up? So, alright, well, next...
I just want to say, like, I appreciate Nintendo's, like, commitment to, like, going super detailed with, like, texture fabric and, like, the shoe, the buffs in his shoe.
Yeah, and, like, he just looks so, like, soft, and even the renders are just, like, the most cuddly looking thing in the world.
They have that nice, like, soft, like, glow to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like playing as plushies. It's nice. I like the kind of the squishy quality of Nintendo's cartoon models, you know, like Kirby and Nintendo, or Mario, and things like that. I like it. I like it a lot. So, all right,
let's. So the next one is Mario's rival and contemporary.
Sonic.
It's Sonic Haghog.
It's Sonic the Haghog.
You must accelerate quickly.
Okay, so this is actually one that I was listening to Bunny Hop, you know, Super Bunny Hop, the best friends are friends with him. I was listening to Bunny Hop talk about the first level of every mainline Sonic game, right? And one thing he brought up early in the video that I think is super interesting and like a reason why Sonic is kind of doomed to always suck in comparison to Mario is that, like, Mario was made out of necessity. Like, his design was necessity, right? Like, he has to look this way because of technical limitations. Sonic was focus tested to hell and back to be, like, the anti-Mario in every single way, right?
Right.
Like, he's born entirely out of, like, corporate culture, like, as to be, like, the counter to Mario. It's not like... It wasn't like an expression for art for art's sake, which is how Bunny Hop put it. He was just there to kind of be like the corporate mascot dude. So, like, because of it, Sonic has like no real identity of his own or really like much charm or anything like that. And that's why like Sonic's games are just kind of always doomed to be bad or like to be rebooted into badness because like there's no identity to the character, and so the games themselves have no fucking identity, which is true. Like, Sonic games have, like, no identity. Like, every time they make a good fast game, like Colors or Sonic Mania, immediately after they make a good game that's about going fast, they put out a shitty platformer because Sonic has no identity. You know?
It's shown, like, directly, because, Mania and then Forces came right on the heels of Mania.
Yeah.
And it's very clear which one is the better game, and it's the one that was made by a much smaller team.
Yeah, by a smaller team who had some appreciation for what Sonic is, you know?
Yeah. Now, this is what we're looking at right now is the modern take on Sonic, which I think they've over the years they've perfected what the modern Sonic looks like.
Right.
Because when he first came out, and I really dig the modern Sonic in comparison to the classic Sonic. I like his mobility. He's got those really long limbs.
Yeah.
And a really small body, which means like he's got a lot of like dynamic like posability to him. That's one of the things I appreciate about like all of the Sonic characters, especially the modern ones, is that they're all designed so that they can like move freely, and it's like appreciated to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because it does definitely, like, Sonic's design is, I mean, focus tested to hell and back as it is, it's still, like, good because it does kind of create the illusion of, like, a character who's meant to be a speedster.
Yeah.
Because, like, his spiky things can work as, like, an indication of speed and blah, 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 things, you know, design shit. And it's all primary colors, things like that kind of help him pop. And then, you know, the additions of, like, the longer limbs and the more, I guess, edgy expressions in his face kind of set him apart as more of, like, a like a dynamic character, whereas Mario is like the soft, kind of light character in comparison. Like, they're two very, very different games. So, like, I think Sonic's design is perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
I just wish they would stop making bad Sonic games. I mean, it'll never happen. But,
no, unless they just get the Mania team to keep doing it.
But then Sega will keep finding ways to fuck it up. I mean, that's what they do. So.
And if you go to the next slide, that is classic Sonic we have in there.
That's cute, though. I like the cutesiness of classic Sonic. He's really adorable.
Especially with, I don't know if you watched the Sonic Mania, the Sonic Mania Adventures video they put out that was animated by Tyson Hess.
No, I didn't. I keep meaning to, but it looks so... I've seen GIFs from it.
Yeah, it is very, very much like super expressive and perfectly serviced for classic Sonic.
Yeah.
Because it's all flat. It's all flat like colors, and it's that helps with a character that looks like this. That looks very almost like a take on classic Disney.
Yeah, it's it is kind of a Disney design, isn't it? With like the spikes, the way Mickey's ears are always making the Mickey Mouse shape. They always find a way to make sure Sonic's head is tilted in a way so that you're never seeing the spike straight on, because the spike straight on looks stupid.
It looks very weird.
Yeah, it looks not good. So yeah, and I like the roundness of classic Sonic's design. He just kind of looks like a fun plushyman.
Yeah.
It's cute. Next.
Right, next is one of the other good character designs.
Mega Man!
It's Mega Man!
It's Mega Man!
This is, the classic Mega Man design has gotten a few retools, kind of like Sonic and Mario have over the years, they've gotten a few retools. I really dig how they've added those, segmenting lines on his torso.
Yeah.
Because originally it was all just, blank.
Suit.
Yeah. And I think, and Mega Man also, like Mario, is designed out of practicality. They needed the blocky limbs to denote where his hands are. They needed the metal underpants to show where his torso and his legs meet. He's a very good design, and I like these older designs that are really more like they're designed to be very square, and you can tell they were designed to be on old 8-bit systems like that.
Yeah. I like the kind of bottom heaviness of Mega Man's design. I've always liked it. It's a very unique look. Cause his design is a triangle. If he stands straight on, arms down, Mega Man forms a triangle, and I think that's kind of neat. It's very, I don't know, whereas Sonic and Mario are both round shapes, Mega Man, because he's a robot, has angular scientific shapes, and I think that's cool.
It's funny because
I don't know how intentional it was on Capcom's part, but it works.
I think it's funny because this Mega Man render is his Smash Bros render, and it's the same one that they use for his amiibo, and his amiibo is one of the only ones that doesn't need a base to support itself.
Right, because it's he's so
just got those
blocky,
big, heavy feet that are just
right
perfect for that.
Oh, and another thing that I love that Smash Brothers did that I really don't think any other Mega Man media has really capitalized on, but I just think it's the coolest thing. In Smash Bros, they make his eyes screens.
Yeah, little what's
LCD
it?
screens.
Yeah, LCD screens, which are perfectly perfectly suited for this character.
Yeah, it looks so cool in his introduction trailer for Smash Bros. It just looks cool,
He's also the only character that is completely still in his idle pose in Smash Brothers.
That's smart because he's a robot. He wouldn't have idle.
He doesn't
motions.
have a breathing animation or any sort of wobbling back and forth at all. He's just completely stone still.
That's neat. That's really cool. That's a good detail on old Nintendo's parts.
Yeah.
The company that's a slave to details. So,
yeah, and they've really modernized, really perfected this design over time, adding just a few little lines and details here and there to make it perfect.
Now, hey, Capcom, will you make more Mega Man games?
Mega Man 11 is coming, and it looks really good.
Thank you, Capcom. We just need more Mega Mans.
Yeah, just regular.
Oh my god, I just skipped ahead. God damn it.
Speaking of Mega Man, though, because this is about bad design, I had to bring out the old, of course, the old box art, Mega Man 1 and 2 box art. We have to look at it. We have to confront
we have to make peace with it, man.
The official Nintendo seal of quality.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Now, there's a few things I want to point out here.
Only a few?
For one thing, if you look at the Mega Man 1 box art...
it's so bad.
What direction... Who is he shooting at? Like, where's that gun pointing?
Yeah, I went to art school. Yeah. I went to art school, and somebody got paid to make this. And I think about that a lot. Like, I think about the Mega Man 1 box art, like, a disproportionate... Because, like, the Mega Man 2 one sucks, but it's not, like, egregious, There's bad.
Yeah, it's inaccurate, but, like, there's some... I mean, there's a detail I want to mention later on, but, like... Yeah, if you look at the Picasso that Mega Man is in this thing, which
and that's an insult to Picasso. This is
also, he's primarily yellow in the box art.
Yeah, I don't know where the yellow came from.
And I'm trying to think. I don't think Mega Man even had a yellow color scheme.
Like power?
Like from the Robot Masters in 1.
Yeah.
Maybe Alec Man, but I think Alec Man was like gray and yellow, I think.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. Like, God, every time I look at this
and I don't know where he is. He's in some sort of like futuristic tropical resort because there's like pine trees in the background.
And there's like explosions in the background and like his weird squatty pose because legs don't bend like that, and neither do arms.
So he has to be on a tilted platform because one knee is higher than the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on with his arms. I don't know what kind of perspective that foreshortening of his arm is in.
I don't understand. I'm still, like, boggled by the legs, because the way the legs have been drawn, it feels like they drew two legs on separate pieces of paper and then photoshopped them together. Like, they're like, you need to draw the left leg and the right leg, but for some arbitrary reason, because we're Capcom, you have to draw them separately. Like, oh my god, it's really bad.
Now,
it's,
now the Mega Man 2 box art is a little bit better. It's more accurate.
Yeah. Right.
He's blue, solid blue. But what is going on with his right foot?
Oh my god, he's breaking his ankle!
He has completely shattered his ankle.
Oh my god, yeah, I've never noticed that about this box art in all of the years I've seen it.
It is completely flopping around.
He's just running around on a broken foot. Yeah, that's really something. Man, I really want to, like, be in the room with, like, the Capcom the Capcom America execs, who were like, I've seen, like, the original, like, Keiji Inafune art for, like, Mega Man 1 and 2. I've put it on t-shirts. Like, it's good, it's cute, it's cartoony, it's fun, it's nice, and, you're like, who decided to take perfectly good, serviceable art and replace it with, like, this garbage?
It's because, for Western audiences, you need to have
big, they wouldn't understand the anime.
You need to have big macho burly men.
With guns. Yeah. I like the aggressiveness of the gun in Mega Man 1. Like, that's just a gun. It's not even like a laser like on the Mega Man 2 cover. That's just a 911. It's just an M1911. Like,
I also would want to point out that Dr. Light is the one ordering
I was
the Robot Master to
that's
attack
not
Mega
Wily.
Man.
That's not Wily, that's Light. Yeah. That's Man, these video games are stupid.
They should bring back the visor though on the helmet.
Yeah, you've got a T-shirt now.
I'm actually wearing the Mega Man 10 T-shirt you got me. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad that Capcom eventually embraced and, like, acknowledged their shitty box art cover and just kind of ran with it. Like, I kind of love it, you know? Yeah. Okay, next.
Next is Sony's answer to Mario and Sonic.
Oh, the short-lived answer. Sony, who was like, we're not doing mascots, and then they tried like 4 different mascots. They tried
several mascots.
Oh, Sony. You shouldn't even try.
Now, he's got a perfectly serviceable design, Crash Bandicoot does.
Sure.
He is very much harkening off of the take an obscure animal and add some sort of, like, intense sound effect name to him.
Right.
And give him some big shoes and gloves and some crazy eyes, and there's your mascot.
You got your fucking mascot. I like how aggressively Naughty Dog, even in 2018, Crash Bandicoot is still, like, really Naughty Dog, and by that I mean his like, fingerless gloves. I know that's, like, a really weird thing to say, but, like, all of Naughty Dog's characters, like Crash and Jack and Nathan Drake, are all, like, this is so weird to eat. I don't even know how to articulate this, but, like, they all have that weird beaten, like, dudes in, like, old leather outfits kind of thing going on.
Crash is one step away from having, like, a Henley and a scarf.
Yes! He is, because he's wearing, like, the cool dude roll-up pants, and he's got on a pair of Chuck Taylor high-top all-stars, and he's got leather, badass, like, fingerless gloves, just like Nathan Drake. Like, all Naughty Dog characters is the same.
Now, I think Crash is one of the few exceptions to the just take an animal and make it extreme, where, like, it actually worked out, for one thing, because the Crash Bandicoot games were good.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that he's not, like, overly designed.
He's not, like, extreme. He's more like a Tasmanian devil kind of character, where he's just kind of crazy.
He's just an animal wearing pants.
Yeah, he is, and he has, like, a cool mohawk. I love Crash's design.
Also, he doesn't talk.
I love that.
Yeah.
If they ever gave Crash Bandicoot a voice, I wouldn't know what to fucking do with myself.
Well, then don't play the Skylanders games.
I will, that's fine. I never intended to.
Because they gave Crash a voice in the Skylanders game.
Oh, no. Why would you do that? No. That's like when they gave Pikachu a voice.
Yeah.
Ugh. Have you ever seen that clip? This is off topic, but whatever. And I'm sure Pikachu is in this list. But you ever seen that clip of, like, people, like, in an audience watching that Pokemon movie where they gave Pikachu a voice?
Yes!
And the whole audience is like, what the fuck? That's how I feel about if Crash spoke. It would be, like, an intensely, like, what the fuck moment.
It was very weird.
No, let's never give Crash Bandicoot a voice. Next!
Next is, speaking of bad designs...
Oh, no! What did they do to you?
Crash got a free redesigns.
No! Are there a bunch of... Oh, no! What did they do to him?
They got rid
of his... He didn't deserve this!
They got rid of his gloves and gave him tribal tats.
No! My boy! My crazy boy! What have they done to you?
It's really not good. It's really...
Wow. Going back and forth between these two is aggressively bad. Like... tribal tattoos is,
The tribal tats and the different shoes, and, like, they got rid of, like, how normally Crash is basically just a triangle.
Yeah, like, he's like a box. Like, he's all the same proportions up and down, but Crash is supposed to be like an inverted... If Mega Man is your standard triangle, like a pyramid, then Crash Bandicoot is an inverted triangle, where he's broad on top and he narrows out at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because his ears are supposed to be big, and his head is supposed to be big, and then it narrows down into, like, a little teeny tiny scrawny body and, like, normal-sized legs. So Crash is an inverted triangle. This is just fucking...
This is bad.
Not good. This is bad.
This is what happened. From? This is from one of the non-Naughty Dog games, when, like, his rights got, like, distributed to, like, I think, like, Universal or whatever.
Yeah, it was Universal. I didn't know that, because after Naughty Dog decided to bail on the Crash Bandicoot franchise, technically... Sony still owned the rights, and so they sold him off to Universal, who... Did you know Universal used to make games? Yeah, it was very short-lived.
Yeah.
That's so bad. My poor boy. My poor boy.
Yeah, at least he's back, he's back in his old form now.
I want to play the new ones.
Yeah.
The Dark Souls version.
Yeah, I want to play Dark Souls 4.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Next.
Oh, hey, somebody I know.
This is really an actual mascot character. Like, this is a merchandise-driven character specific to one franchise. This is Teddy.
Teddy from P4, and I skipped ahead to, I saw Morgana too, so we're going to lump these two into the same conversation.
Yep.
My feelings toward Teddy and Morgana are, I go back and forth on how much I like them, but generally speaking, my thoughts are almost always like, I could take them or leave them. Teddy got like really flanderized in later parts of Persona, like especially in like Arena, which is just a bunch of flanderization if you aren't like Soji or Narukami, whatever his fucking name is, Labris and like Adachi, like everybody else got like really, really flanderized.
Yeah.
And Teddy, like Akihiko's like obsession with protein, whatever. But you know, Teddy especially, and so like it's hard to like separate that Teddy from like good lovable Teddy that we get in parts of P4. But like I would feel fonder toward Teddy if they would just take away the whole like I want to see naked girls thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's the oldest, most boring trope of all time.
These two, and then the next like small batch of characters are like the different brand of mascot.
Yeah.
Whereas like the rest of them in this image gallery are all like they're the star of the show and they're going to be on the merchandise. Whereas these ones are like they're the ones you put on all the merchandise but they're not like the main character.
Right.
And that almost makes them like
worse.
Less enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they don't get the attention that like Mario or Sonic or Crash would.
Right.
Like, instead they're just off to the side, and sometimes you can ignore them, but then if you look anywhere else besides, like, the core game, they're everywhere.
They're, like, aggressively everywhere. And Teddy, as, like, a design, is really fun. Shadow Teddy is, like, the best, because it's like, oh, look at this cute little fucking bear. Oh, my God!
Yeah.
You know? And Flat Teddy should be the mascot for Persona 4.
Flat Teddy's the best thing to happen to Teddy.
Flat Teddy should have been the mascot for P4. God, fucking Flat Teddy. See, and then when I remember things like Flat Teddy, I go like, oh, I love Teddy. And then I remember all the other stuff. And I'm like, oh, right.
And also, Teddy looked his best in the anime, which was one of the things the anime did actually right. Was not
Teddy, animating his... Yeah.
Yeah, make Teddy look way cuter.
He's really, really cute. I kind of like... I don't know. I'm of two minds about like, super cute Teddy. Because, like, on the one hand, yeah, he's, like, really, really cute in the anime. But on the other, this is still, like, Megaten. And, like, your mascots are supposed to be kind of, like fucking weird. Because it's Megaten. And everything's kind of, like, fucking weird. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, Teddy being, like, a weird, creepy, like, giant, soulless eyeball dude kind of tracks with, like, Megaten. But, I mean, also, Persona 4 is the beginning of, like, the de-Megatenization of Persona. That's not a bad thing, but it's, like, a fact, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it kind of makes sense that the anime was like, let's make him cuter and softer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we got Morgana, and, Morgana. If Morgana hadn't white knighted for On so hard, I don't know. The design is good.
Yeah, it's a good design.
The design is good, and, there are parts in P5 where I'm like, I love Morgana, and then there are parts in P5 where I'm like, if you shit-talk Ryuji one more time, I'm gonna come into that TV and turn you into a rug, cat. You know?
I think I like Teddy's design more as a mascot character. I think for one thing, because Teddy literally is a mascot suit. Like, you know, that works for him. Whereas Morgana does, like, looking at Morgana isolated from everyone else, Morgana could be a 90s side-scrolling Sonic ripoff.
Totally. Oh my god, you're so right.
Like, I can easily see the SNES platformer that he can get.
Absolutely. Yeah, like Morgana and the Morgana the thief or whatever the fuck.
Morgana the cat burglar.
Yeah, I totally feel it. And like in the beginning of P5, when Morgana was like this snarky asshole cat who was like kind of like the anti-mascot character because he wasn't trying to be cute or anything. He's like a cool, fun mastermind character. You're like, that's cool. And then like as the game goes on, you're like, there's way cooler characters in this game than you, cat. But whatever. I'm ambivalent. Teddy, I think I like more.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's next?
So next is we went into the Tails mascot group.
God damn it!
So let's get the worst one out of the way now.
God. Every time I go like, man, I should replay Tales of the Abyss because it's like the best game in the series. You know what I mean? Something always stops me, and that something is that, like, the first actual quest in the game is you gotta go to the Cheegle Forest, and you gotta deal with the Cheegles, and every single Cheegle in this game is annoying.
Cheegles?
But okay, so especially Mew.
We're talking about Mew from Tales of the Abyss.
I fucking hate this character.
Mew's not even... The Cheegles don't even have a good design.
No, they don't. They're not cute.
They're very basic.
They're
just
basic.
It's a big head with a little body, and they have little poofy ears, and like that's it.
That's like the easy mode of mascot design. You know what I mean? You didn't try it all.
Cheegles look like what like fans think new Pokemon look like.
You're right. Mew looks like a fake Pokemon. You're totally right. Like this thing should have 2 more evolutions.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe if Mew didn't have the most irritating goddamn voice in any English dub I've ever heard, because I don't think I've ever heard Mew's Japanese voice, or if I have, I can't remember it.
It's probably either worse or like really, really good.
It's either it's awful or the lady who voices Chopper and Pikachu does the voice for Mew. That's it. Like, and also Morgana is voiced by Chopper and Pikachu. Like, that lady is like, like, if you need a really well-voiced mascot character in your fucking Weeb property, you go get whatever that lady's name is. And so, but like, Mew's English voice is like, I don't, like, have words to all I can say is Mew!
And you hear it every time you have to use the Sorcerer's Ring.
It's awful. And it's, like, the most high-pitched... It's, like, I get, like, tonal dissonance, you know what I mean? Like a lot of games do a good job with, like, tonal dissonance, you know? Where it's like, here's a bunch of cute shit. Here's a bunch of horrible stuff happening to that cute shit. Like, Madoka has made a fucking franchise off of it. But, like, in a game that's ostensibly supposed to be, like, the more mature, fucked up version of a Tales game, like, the weird, squeaky-voiced mascot who's like, I believe in you, master! I can't even do the voice, and it makes me want to kill myself every time I try. I can't get that high-pitched, I'm sorry. Anyways, to have that character be like, I believe in you, master, is like, that's a tonal whiplash that could break your neck, you know?
It's so jarring.
Bad. It's
he doesn't fit.
Bad.
He
doesn't. No.
I don't like this design.
If Mew didn't speak, like if Mew was like a Pokemon where he just made Mew noises like the whole game, I might like Mew more. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I would like Mew way more if he didn't talk.
Yeah, but unfortunately he talks, and it's like the worst. At least it's not a fucking like I want to see naked girls mascot character. You know what I mean? It's the only thing we got going for it. And if the next one on this list is Bienfu, I'm fucking done with the podcast.
No, Bienfu is not the next one.
Okay.
The next one's actually the best Tails mascot character.
Thank God, because Repeat is the best fucking... Because Repeat is just a dog.
Repeat's just a cool dog.
Repeat is just a cool
doesn't talk.
Dog.
He doesn't talk. He doesn't like do human shit. He doesn't wear human clothes. He's just a dog.
It's just a dog.
He's just a really well-trained dog with like a great...
With a knife!
He's just got a really great design. Really angular.
Yeah. And he just, like, he can be cute, like, because Puppy Peed? Please tell me Puppy Peed is on this fucking list.
I don't have an image of him, but we can still talk about him.
We have to talk about Puppy Peed, because, like, Puppy Repeed in First Strike is easily the cutest anime dog in the universe. Hands down, don't at me on Twitter. I'm right.
Because he's still got that grumpy face.
Yes! It's so cute! And they even, somehow, Tales of Vesperia, the First Strike, managed to give the dog character a tragic backstory. And it's, like, genuinely tragic, too. It's, like, actually the saddest part in a movie that's pretty sad. Like, man, Repeat rules.
Repeat's so cool. He's got a cool eye scar.
Yeah, a dog with an eye scar. The dog is the most badass character in Tales of Vesperia.
So cool.
It's like Yuri Lowenthal. Shit. I'm gonna keep drinking. Yuri Lowell is like he like looks cool at first, and then he opens his mouth, and you're like, oh, he's just a goon. But then like his dog walks in the room, and you're like, shit, that's a badass dog.
That's a badass dog.
That dog could kick your ass. If this dog walked up and slapped your girl's ass, there's nothing you could do, my dude. That girl is now, like, belongs to the dog. I'm sorry. You know?
Him and his pipe.
He has a pipe. How cool is that? Shut up. Man, Repeat is the best.
Repeat's
I bet the next one on this list is Bienfu, isn't it?
The next one is Bienfu.
God damn it, I hate this fucking character so much.
Bienfu, okay, so Mew's the worst, but Bienfu's the worst.
Bienfu's the worst.
Bienfu is all of the bad of Mew's design, with all of the bad parts of Teddy's personality.
And, like, if you turned, like, Mineta from fucking, Mineta from Hero Aka, if you turned him into a mascot character, you would get Bienfu, right?
Oh, you're right, though.
I am right. It's all purple, and it's all about titties. Which is just... And it has a grating voice and a terrible design. There's nothing good about this fucking character. Well, that's not true. There's one good thing about Bienfu. Two, maybe. I love Bienfu's, his bad speech quirk. I think it's really funny. Like when he's talking about Maggie Lou and he's like, it's bad!
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty funny. And all of his interactions with Maggie Lou are the best.
Yeah, because it's just him getting like his shit wrecked.
It's him getting his shit pushed in constantly. Like that first time that Maggie Lou and Bienfu run into each other at the end of Act 1 and she gets like her scary face and she's like, there you are, you little shit. Like, that's the best. Bienfu... So, like, okay, here's what makes Mew worse than Bienfu, even though Bienfu ostensibly sucks more. Bienfu fits the tone of Tales of Berseria, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, everybody in Tales of Berseria is, like, a shitty fuck-up, and, like, none of them do good things. So even though Bienfu, like, sucks, it still works because, like, everybody in Berseria sucks, you know?
Yeah.
But not... No, Mew doesn't work like that. Mew is like everybody else at Abyss is like they've all got like fucked up shit going on. And here's Mew being like, I'm so cute.
Mew is like if Kirby showed up in like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's about right. Bienfu still sucks though.
Yeah. No mistake. Oh yeah, Bienfu's still awful.
No. He's bad.
Yeah.
Next.
Alright, next is, we're going into...
I don't know who this is.
We're going into the bad mascots territory now, so, like, the rest of this is all kind of, like, dispersed between, like, good and bad and in-between designs.
I don't know who this is.
This is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
I still don't know who this is.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So, if you don't remember who Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is, there was a commercial where Ty would walk into the ER, or like the ER ward of a hospital.
Oh,
and there were like hints of Crash and Mario and Sonic all bandaged up and scared for their lives of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Oh no.
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 He got 3 games, I think, and none of them were good.
I expected.
As you can see, he has a boomerang gimmick.
Yeah, I can tell. Do you think he's from Australia? Does he have like a bad Australian accent?
Yeah, he does.
Hell yeah, he does.
I have played one Ty the Tasmanian Tiger game.
You're a worse person for it.
It's not a good game.
No, it's not.
Not a good design.
Design?
This design, this is official art, by the way, but doesn't this look like fan art?
It does look like bad furry fan art.
Yeah.
Like this is my, you know what this looks like? It looks like somebody's bad Sonic for something.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
Look at how stiff he is, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, his torso is, like, completely straight. His arms are straight out. His head's kind of tilted at, like, that weird 3/4 that, like, everyone can draw.
But, like, his mouth is, like, way off to the side. His mouth is, like, really freaking me out. If you spend more than 30 seconds looking at this character's mouth, and you've had a few drinks, you start to feel like you're going crazy. Like, something's just, like, fundamentally wrong. This, like, non-Euclidean geometry at this point. Like, the world has stopped making sense.
Jeez.
Mouths don't work that way.
Yeah, and that's also the Sonic problem, where, like, Sonic characters have their mouths in, like, the sides of their faces now.
Yeah,
but, like, it's really...
everybody's got that DreamWorks smirk going on.
It's really egregious here, though.
And, like, his eyes are all one visor, like Sonic. Yeah, I hate it.
But at least Sonic... At least...
Also, he has the fucking the Super Saiyan 3 eyebrows, and I hate it.
Oh my god, he does! He's got that solid ridge.
It's just a big knotted ridge of fucking forehead. I hate it. Yeah, this sucks. What's next?
Who the fuck
is this?
This is Sega's answer to themselves. This is...
Sega, you suck. Why did the Dreamcast fail? I don't know.
This is Rystar.
Who?
Rystar. He is from the Sega Genesis game Rystar, made by Sonic Team. The idea behind it was, what if Sonic was slow? Okay, so the idea is that originally Sonic was going to be a bunny, because rabbits are fast.
Right.
And the idea would be that he can use his ears to grapple onto things.
Okay.
Well, that didn't quite work, and so they kind of phased that out eventually when he became a hedgehog, but they still like the idea of, like, grappling. So what Rystar does is Rystar can stretch his arms out, and he can grab onto, like ledges and, like, hooks and stuff, and...
How does that fit with a star gimmick?
Because he's like a shooting star, because he rockets himself forward.
Okay.
So, you know, he's got... and his game is actually pretty good. It's on the Sega Genesis... It's on the Sonic Collection... any sort of, like, Sonic collection.
It's like Sega is even admitting that he's like a Sonic.
Oh yeah, he's totally harping off Sonic. Like, he's got the sneakers and the gloves and everything.
Yep.
Unfortunately, only had one game, which sucked. Because it was actually a pretty good platforming game with, like, a fun little gimmick, because, you know, swinging and, like, grappling and stuff.
And Ty the Tasmanian Tiger got 3.
Yeah, but
wow.
Yeah, so that's he's. Just
I don't like it.
He's very unsettling because he's got that, like, early 90s style to him.
It's just weird that, like, his it kind of feels like, if you look at it, it's like a parasite. Like there was, like, a creature in, like, Soniclandia, right? And it was on, like, an all black circle. And then, like a star fell from space, and like a fucking face hugger from Alien, it latched itself on to this little black roundman, and it took control. And so that is what Rystar is. It's like a horrible parasite that's, like, piloting this body, because its face is so separate from its, like, its figure. It creeps me out, and I don't like it.
The anatomy of Rystar is very unsettling.
You're right, like, if you think about it for more than a few minutes.
He's, like, trying to be a Pac-Man, but, like, because he has that two separate parts to him, it's very upsetting.
It's weird. It's a little Lovecraftian. So we need to move on. We need to move on. No, we don't. No, God damn it. God damn it. Go back. Go back. Motherfucker. All right, so I'm not talking about Bubsy for more than 15 seconds.
We have to confront Bubsy the Bobcat.
I don't want to confront Bubsy the Bot. I refuse. No.
So, like how we talked about how, like, Crash is the most successful iteration of the take your edgy, obscure animal. Mm-hmm. Bubsy is the worst.
I hate this. I hate this
Bubsy
design.
The Bobcat.
I hate those games.
Everything about Bubsy the Bobcat is wrong.
Yeah, I hate the smugness of the Bubsy the Bobcat fucking advertising. Like they think they're some hot shit when they've never made a good game ever. And if somebody ats me on Twitter and says, like, Bubsy 1 was good, I'm going to come to your house and burn it down.
None of the Bubsy games were good.
Fuck you.
Every Bubsy game is just this over-cluttered, like,
trash,
floaty mess of too much happening on the screen. With this.
Can you believe Bubsy got a new goddamn game in 2017?
Can you believe it came out at the same time Sonic Mania did?
Can you believe that, like, fucking Swery can't get his Good Life funded, like, for shit, but fucking Bubsy gets a new video game in 2017? Fucking Silent Hills got canceled, and Bubsy gets a goddamn game in 2017. This is the worst possible timeline. This is, like, the darkest version of reality, where, like, Donald Trump is president, and Bubsy got a new game in 2017, but fucking, we're never gonna get the ending for Metal Gear Solid 5, and Silent Hills got canceled. Fuck this shit. I hate Bubsy.
Ugh. His smug aura mocks me.
I want to talk about a better mascot. Can we please change the subject?
Let's talk about a good mascot. You don't like this mascot.
I do like this mascot. I had a crush on this mascot when I was 14.
So I decided to filter in some good ones in between all the crap, just so we could have like
Thank
a break.
God.
So let's talk about Jak and Daxter, which are like the sequel.
Jak and Daxter are good.
The sequel to Crash, basically.
This is what I mean, though, about like the Naughty Dog fingerless gloves aesthetic. That's a hard thing to put into words. But you look at Jak, and you look at like fucking Crash and his fingerless leather gloves, and you're like, same guys.
Yep. Jak also has the scarf that Nathan Drake would get.
Nathan Drake. Yeah. Naughty Dog has a very easy to identify aesthetic. I don't mind, but you know, it's a thing.
I also like the metal like armor that Jak wears. The singular ring.
Listen, we're gonna have to do a podcast about fucking Jak and Daxter because I got a lot to say about this game because like I really liked this franchise growing up. And part of it is that the design of the Jak and Daxter world is really, really solid. I love, like, it's very sharp, angular design and everything. Like, everything is all these very exaggerated shapes. Yeah. But it all still feels, like, kind of down to earth, even though we're playing, like, giant elf-eared dudes and, like, fucking, like, weasel otter dude thing. But, like, all of it still has this incredible down-to-earth nature where everything kind of feels very, like, grounded and real, and there's, like, a lot of thought and care put into, like, the Jak and Daxter worlds, even in, like, Jak 1, you know what I mean? Yeah, they did a very good job of, like, directly translating the concept art and, like, the renders into the actual game. Like, right. This era of, like, PS2 era was, like, cartoons are real now. Yeah, and I mean, Naughty Dog has always been just really, really good at translating their concept art into what you're actually seeing on screen, because a lot of times you play a game and you're like, this looks nothing like its concept art. But Naughty Dog has always been very, very good about it, and we'll eventually talk about Naughty Dog games at a later date. Hey! That's a preview for you. Yeah. And this is just like, this... I honestly think these are the best games Naughty Dog has ever made. Oh yeah, the Jak trilogy's among the best. It still holds up. I honestly... I mean, they still hold up in a way that is hard to really critique. Like, there's some obvious flaws in the Jak franchise, but, like, in comparison to the way Naughty Dog makes games now, the Jak, they're still video games. Yeah. Like, the Jak trilogy are still, like, video games. And, I've never seen a franchise actually... The Jak series is the only franchise that ever actually handled a transition to a grimdark future, and it didn't suck. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know? Like, the one on screen right now, if you're not following along, or, if you're not following along, is his design in Jak 2. And, like, it blows my mind that Jak 2, despite being, like a legitimately darker story, they just made it work, you know? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It worked really, really well. It worked really well. It was for the better. Yeah, honestly, like, I can't imagine, like, like the version of Jak 2 or Jak and Daxter 2, I guess I should say. Jak 2 is different than like the proverbial or hypothetical Jak and Daxter 2, which is still set in like the fun island land game. Like, I can't imagine that hypothetical game existing and being as good or as like as interesting as a thought concept as the Jak 2 we got, you know?
Yeah.
Jak 2 and Jak 3 are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to say.
Yes.
So, and the designs are good. Daxter got a redesign between Jak and Daxter and Jak 2, and I honestly, at first, when I like first played Jak 2, I didn't like his redesign, but now that I'm older, I like his more realistic because like Daxter in Jak and Daxter has like cartoony facial features, kind of like a Bugs Bunny kind of face, where he's got like his defining features. He's got like big modeled teeth,
right?
You know
what
I mean? And it's more like an angular face, and he's kind of more like a goofy cartoon man. But then in Jak 2, he got like a really significant redesign to be more realistically proportioned and like a little bit cuter. And honestly, I like it a lot
more. It worked out.
It fits really well, and it actually made Daxter even more of a likable character, which is shocking because Daxter should be the kind of character I fucking hate. But whatever, it's fine. I've been talking for 5 solid minutes after bitching about Bubsy. I've been talking for like 5 solid minutes about how much I love Jak and Daxter. So we have to do an episode about this. Because I love it. I do.
Yeah.
What's next? So we don't keep doing this.
Next is the counterpart to Jak and Daxter.
This is my dark video game confession. I've never played a single Ratchet and Clank game.
They're very good games, and I really, really appreciate the design changes that Ratchet has gone through.
Yeah.
This is one of his more later iterations where they've kind of slimmed him down, and they've kind of like they've made him a bit less detailed.
Yeah.
But you know, in that way that's like for the better. You know, when they streamline his appearance and he just kind of comes out looking better. So like his first appearance, like if you look at the older, like the first trilogy of Ratchet games, like nowadays they have that sort of like fakeness to them, that like kind of like weird glassy eyed.
Yeah.
You know, and like these are games that have really benefited from like the transition to HD.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of like character design, where everyone kind of gets like streamlined and cleaned up to fit more of that like cartoony, like, you know, bringing a cartoon to life kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, but like Naughty Dog, you know, Insomniac is really good at design and facial expression and animation and stuff.
Yeah, they are. Insomniac has like the second best like mascots for the PlayStation 1 era. I mean, I always preferred Crash over Spyro. But Spyro had a great design, and Ratchet and Clank have great designs, and the story of like Naughty Dog and Insomniac's like friendliness as a pair of development teams is famous at this point.
Yeah.
The eggs in the precursor eggs in Jak and Daxter are reskinned gems from Spyro.
Are they?
Oh my god, you don't know this story?
No,
oh my god,
I didn't
it's
know
one of my
that.
favorite video game stories ever. Oh man, it's such a shame that I have to tell it to you now instead of during the Jak and Daxter episode. But we're here. Apparently, when Naughty Dog was reaching the end of the deadline, so apparently Jak and Daxter was supposed to be a bit like a bigger game. They had, obviously, as most devs do, they went like, man, we have a ton of ideas for this game, we just don't have the time to implement all of them. And so they ran out of time, and so they decided, like, we need to make it into a collectathon instead to at least make some kind of, to extend the gameplay of this game. So what they did is they called Insomniac, and they were like, can we borrow the gem asset from Spyro, and we're going to reskin it and turn it into these precursor orbs? And Insomniac was like, yeah, sure. And so they actually sent over the gem asset from the Spyro games, and like I said, it was reskinned in the precursor orbs, and they slapped it in the game, and they turned it into a collectathon because they ran out of time to do anything else with it. And I love that story. So that's why
amazing.
in Jak 2, there's a billboard that has Ratchet and Clank on it in the slums, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't know that. The reason is because Insomniac helped out Naughty Dog years and years ago with Jak and Daxter, and to pay them back, they gave Ratchet and Clank basically free advertising in Jak 2.
Yeah, I know there's also Jak 2 billboards in Ratchet and Clank, and in the fourth game, Ratchet Deadlocked, you can play as Jak as an unlockable skin.
Yeah, and it all goes back to the fact that Insomniac helped out Naughty Dog when they were kind of in like dire straits. Is that not the best story ever?
That's amazing.
So good. Yeah. So yeah, that's your video game trivia for that. I always loved that. That's some of my favorite facts about those games.
That's cool.
So and so I really should play Ratchet and Clank
at
some point, but I have so many video games to play. It's horrible. Anyways, next
we're going back to the bad designs.
Oh, what's this?
This is Arrow the Acrobat.
It looks like an Alvin and the Chipmunk character.
And this is a blatant Sonic ripoff.
I hate it. It's so busy and so... What are these even games supposed to be? Like, it's busy and cluttered and...
This is just a 2D platformer for the SNES. You can kind of tell by how grainy the design is.
Yeah.
You know...
Was the game any good?
Of course not. No, of course not.
Of course not, no. Well, you said Rystar was good, so there's always that chance
but Rystar was made by Sonic Team.
Right.
This is not. This was, I think, Sunsoft?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense if it was by Sunsoft, so...
Yeah, and
this sucks.
I watched, like, a few gameplay videos, and it's just this very busy, floaty platformer. You know, he's bad, he flies, he does, floating, gliding stuff or whatever. He's a circus guy.
Great. It sucks. I don't like it. I don't like his giant ears.
He's so aggressively 90s.
It's so 90s. It's just, I keep thinking it looks like a character from Alvin and the Chipmunks. You know what I mean? Like, there should be 2 more of this guy, and they're, like, evil versions of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
He's got that thing where, like, even though this is, like, his core concept art... His proportions still look off.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, his arms still look too short in comparison to his legs.
Yeah.
And his head is weird. His shape is so weird. I know it's, like, concept art, so he's got his wings out, and maybe he doesn't always have his wings out or something. But it just... Having wings on your character always guarantees, like, fuck up their silhouette, unless you do it... Unless you're Blizzard and you know how to do it.
Or,
but otherwise...
Or the only other way to do it right is I learned that from, the Gargoyles.
Yeah, you wear it like a cape.
Yeah.
I also saw that on Twitter. It's really cool. Yeah. But this guy does not do it right.
No.
So,
this
next.
guy's bad.
It's bad. Bad bat!
This guy's also not the greatest.
Oh, no.
This is Gex.
I never played a Gex. Never played Gex.
I played the N64
Gex.
version of Gex.
All the videos I ever saw as Gex as a kid, the, like, shiny... Okay... You know how Five Nights at Freddy's kind of capitalizes on how creepy old, like, 90s era CGI models are?
Yeah.
Gex reminds me of that.
Gex is absolutely that. Gex is, he's cut from the same cloth as, like, Bubsy and all them, where it's like, he makes the movie references.
Yeah.
He quotes the movie.
That was a weird thing in the 90s where, like, everybody was throwing around movie references for some reason. I don't get it.
All they needed to do was quote a movie, like Duke Nukem. Like, Gex is like Duke Nukem as an animal, but like that same sort of, like, this won't get outdated.
No, this will definitely hold up in 20 years when
Yeah.
all of the kids have played, when they're replaying Gex for some godforsaken reason and they get all of these weird esoteric references. I don't get it. I mean, like, even good movies in the 90s, like Aladdin, made, like, pop culture references. And I don't... Like, Hercules, right? This is off topic, but it kind of traces back to it. But fucking Hercules was talking about, like sports endorsement deals and shit like that in and it's like a Disney movie. An okay Disney movie. Not like the best Disney movie, but like an okay one. And then Aladdin did it too. And I want to know, like, I need to know did Disney start it? Was it like everybody was trying to be like Disney and be like, well, popular Disney movies riff on fucking pop culture references, so we have to do it too? Or is like something else going on in the 90s where everybody felt compelled? I
think it was just that, like, you know, we had all, like, the 90s was like the start of like the internet, and so like information being spread like that means that like references are more commonplace because you have this
everybody will get those references. I guess
and that just spread to stuff like Duke Nukem or to like Gex, who, you know, looking at Gex right now, like, he's just a gecko.
He's just a gecko in a suit.
Even if you look at like looking at like Bubsy or Arrow, like, they don't look like the animal they're based off of.
Right,
like, you get the hint of them. Like,
yeah, but Sonic doesn't actually look like a hedgehog,
Yeah, but he's got spikes, so he has the evocation of a hedgehog.
Right.
But Gex is just a gecko.
Yeah, he's not even like really that stylized of a gecko. He's literally just like a cheap gecko model.
Yeah.
Thrown in a suit and given a gun.
Yeah, he's just a gecko.
It's so weird. So weird. The 90s were weird.
They were very weird.
What the fuck? Is this Glover?
This is Glover. The next one on the list is Glover.
Oh, I didn't play Glover either. You're going to hear that a lot in these like really obscure mascot titles.
Well, I mean, Glover only had one game, so like it's not.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Huh.
He only had the one.
Man, that's weird. I feel like Glover was more popular than that.
He was it was an interesting game, but I included him on this list because he is the white glove. You know?
You're right! Oh my god! Yeah,
I wanted to include him because he is the white glove that like all these mascot characters wear.
That it really is just like boiling it down to its most basic essence is like everybody wears the white glove, so like why not just make a mascot out of the white glove? Yeah, that's wild. I didn't even think about that.
It was a game that I personally enjoyed, and I would have liked to see more of them, but you know,
right? It weirds me out that it only has 4 fingers.
Yeah, but I mean that's your cartoon characters for you.
I mean, yeah.
Where would you put the 5th one if he had it? You know,
give him a ding dong. Yep.
Yeah. Although looking at like his proportions, like this is a man with 2 fingers and 2 thumbs.
You're right. That is even weirder. That's a really fucked up hand.
Yeah.
I think maybe his gloves ran away because it was tired of like living on the hand of a guy with like such fucked up like hands.
Like if you try to like put your hand like the way Glover would walk, like
it's not possible.
Either that or like he has no thumb at all.
I guess that would be it. It would have to be like there's no thumb because
claw.
like I'm making claws with my hands right now. I wish all of you could see this right now. I'm like trying to make my hands kind of look like Glover.
I would assume everyone listening is also doing the same thing.
Yeah, but really, if you make your hands, like, you can't make your index finger and your pinky, like, do that. You know what I mean?
Extend that far out, no.
Right, but you can if you use your pinky and your thumb. Like, that is, like, extended far out enough to work as a pair of, like, arms and legs. You know?
Yeah. If you got rid of your ring finger, it kind of works.
Yeah, or your middle finger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you got rid of your middle finger, you would have 2, and you could, like, walk it around. We're spending too much time on this. I'm overthinking this.
The physics and the biology of Glover.
The biology of Glover.
By the way, in the game, is just a walking glove. Like, he's a glove that came to life. Like, there's nothing inside the hand.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. It's weird, soulless eyes freak me out, so we need to move on.
Okay.
Rayman,
of the white gloves.
Yeah. Again, let's boil this down to its most basic essence.
I also love the fact that Rayman exists out of necessity.
Really?
Yeah, because Sony had no idea how to animate this character and had to be able to see him see him entirely.
Right.
So they just said, "All right, no arms and legs."
Yeah, looking at it, like, looking at the render, it's just really, like, weird. It's very Uncanny Valley to just have, like, a render of floating arms and legs,
Yeah.
or floating hands and feet, I guess I should say, not floating arms and legs. It's just so, like, is he supposed to be invisible?
No.
Like, from the neck, the face, the head down? I don't get it.
He just has floating arms and legs.
So there's no, like, explanation why?
Nope, they're just floating psychic, I don't know, they just float.
Cool. Video games are a good medium that makes sense.
He's a cartoon character, like, he doesn't need, like, an explanation like that.
I know, but I see it, and I see the fact that, in my head, I just think if you took off all of Rayman's clothes, then, like, in my head, I just think he'd just be completely invisible from, like, the head down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the neck down would all be invisible.
What is underneath those gloves or those boots, like...
Are they, like, weird disembodied hands and feet, or is it just that Rayman is, like, an invisible man and he just couldn't manage to make his head disappear?
Or, like, are those his hands and feet? Like, is he just made of that?
Or is he... Maybe Rayman is just a head, and he's, like, telekinetically controlling, like, a hoodie and some gloves and shoes.
Now, what's funny is that Rayman originally had a red scarf.
Okay.
And that got turned into a hood later on.
Oh, I kind of remember that. Yeah. Gotta make him cool and trendy for the kids.
He's got the
kids don't wear scarves, kids wear hoods.
He's got the little dangly, like, what are those called? Like
I don't know.
The straps? Like
the string? Like the...
Yeah, the drawstring? That's it, the drawstring.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, too bad the Rabbids took over that franchise.
Yeah, speaking of the Rabbids...
Is that what's next?
Let's take a look at the next one. Let's take a look at these minions.
I hate these fucking characters. You know...
You go back for a second. Rayman's got a great design. It's really sharp. It's really cartoony. It's really fun. He's got, you know, he's got the floating limbs are a cool thing that I really like in characters.
It's cool to watch in motion. Yeah. Like, watching Rayman move looks really unique.
Go look at some gameplay videos of the first Rayman. Where they, you know, were back when it was sprite-based. Yeah. And, it's really cool seeing him in motion.
Yeah, because it's just, like, a very unique character concept, so when you see it move, it's kind of cool, you know?
Or you can look at the cool Legends and Origins.
Rayman Legends looks really good.
Yeah, they look really, really sharp. You know, they really cool 2D sprites. And then, you look at Rabbids.
You know, the thing is that initially, I mean, like everybody else on planet Earth, kind of like with the Minions, when they first came out, they were kind of funny because they're so, like, ridiculous that the comedy is that they scream.
They worked because they worked because they were an antagonistic role to Rayman.
Yeah, right.
So you had fun because they were these screeching little demons that you could throttle around, you know?
Right. Like, that was the fun of the series, which that you had these little fucking monster characters, and you could just boot them around, and you didn't feel guilty, because they were just weird, you know? Like, the initial advertisements for Raven Rabbids was, like, funny, you know? Yeah. You're just like, God, it's so... You see it, and you're like, it's funny, because they scream. I don't know. The mid-2000s were weird. Yeah. Deal with it.
We were easily entertained.
We didn't have a lot going on, okay? Bush was president, things were weird. And then it just kind of, like, kept going forever.
And then they never stopped making Rabbids. And
then they crossed over with, like, Mario and, like...
And the Rabbids are the worst part of an otherwise good game.
Yeah.
Like, Mario Cross Rabbids, like, is a good baby's first XCOM.
It is. That's... Yeah, I mean, you're right. But, like, God, I just look at this thing and I'm like, man, if we had known back in, like, what was this, 2007, 2005?
Around that time.
Something around that time. Like, if you had told me back in, like, then that, like, hey, this is gonna be, like, a major franchise that's gonna kill Rayman and like, take over it, like, some sort of horror. Completely eclipse it like a horrible Ray Star face parasite. I wouldn't have believed you in the slightest, but here we are. Again, 2018 is like a weird video game hellscape because Bubsy has a new video game and the Raven Rabbids crossed over with Mario. Whatever.
Awful, awful creature.
Awful character design. I hate it. Give me something different. What's next?
Next is a good character design.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie have They are, again, they're Rare's answer to Mario, and you can see the Mario. You can see the Mario in them.
Poor Rare. Yeah. How far you have fallen. How about Sea of Thieves?
Banjo also has that thing where, like, he's a bear, but he doesn't look like a bear.
Yeah, he looks more like a bear than Sonic or Crash look like a hedgehog and a bandicoot, whatever the fuck a bandicoot is.
But he's got the dog snout.
He has a dog snout, you're right, but, like, he's still kind of identifiably a bear because he has the little short, like, rounded ears, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, I skipped ahead to, like, the new render, which is, like, great. I actually really like the... What is...
You like the nuts and bolts render?
Yeah, I think it's great!
Oh, I hate it.
You hate it? Why do you hate it?
I hate it.
Why?
They look so soulless.
I kind of like them. I don't know. They look more like, especially Kazooie looks like they were made out of paper. Like, they look more like really cool. They look like stuffed animals, which kind of goes back to the whole Mario thing. Like, I guess part of it is also that the old N64 renders have that creepy Five Nights at Freddy's animation thing going on that gives me, like, the major creeps. Because they have the horrible... Like, especially Banjo in this one picture has that scary doll-eyed quality that makes me think it's going to come, like, stare at me while I sleep.
But I hate the new renders, like, beady eyes. I hate them.
I think they're neat. I like the hand-stitched quality of like his clothes and, like, the bag. I like that Kazooie looks like a papercraft bird. Like, I think it's neat looking.
I like the texture work, but I don't like the redesigns. I don't like the way they're proportioned.
Yeah,
they have these weird blocky looks to them.
I don't have a lot of like nostalgia for the like Banjo and Kazooie. I played them when I was a kid, but not like a lot, you know. So I guess I don't have a lot of nostalgia for that look. I don't know. Like, yeah, I can kind of see where Banjo's face could maybe give you the creeps, but like as a whole package, I like the blockiness. I think it looks neat. It's unique, you know?
I would have rather stick with the old version.
Oh man, the first major like argument on the Gorge
is on Banjo-Kazooie redesign.
No, they're I don't know. I like it. Like I said, it's neat that Kazooie looks like they're made out of paper, and it's just like different. And like I said, the original ones kind of gave me the creeps.
Yeah.
But this was also like a game that I didn't play a lot as a kid.
Yeah, if you didn't grow up with Banjo-Kazooie, like maybe you'd be a bit more receptive to them. But like, I don't know.
Banjo and Kazooie always gave me the creeps, if that makes sense. Like, even when I was a kid, something about that game scared me. Like, in, like, that weird, nonsensical way that kids get scared of random things.
Well, they had that British style to them.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, the level design was always kind of, like, weird. You know how, like, a lot of N64 games had, like, a really weird, like, level design?
Well, like we said, they're all haunted.
Every single N64 game is haunted, you're right. And Banjo and Kazooie just always felt, like, really especially haunted to me. Like, more so than even, like, Ocarina of Time. Banjo and Kazooie was, like, the most haunted shit. Okay, what's next?
Before we go on, I just want to pause real quick. I want to check on something, so I'm going to pause it, and we'll be right back.
Oh, should I stop the recording?
Yeah, stop recording. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back.
So what's next?
Next is a spin-off of Arrow the Acrobat, which is Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel.
Shut the fuck up! Does it, like, blow itself up?
No, I watched gameplay of it. I saw no examples of it actually trying to blow itself up. Instead,
so it's not like a kamikaze at all.
Instead, it seems to just be some kind of, like, weird, like, quote-unquote Japanese ninja. Like, you see he's got the Rising Sun headband, and he's throwing a throwing star.
Right.
I don't... He's that, like, sort of, like... He's Japanese in the way that, like, the soba noodle dish at Panera Bread is Japanese.
Yeah. But it's made by Sunsoft. I know. It's a Japanese company.
I know, but, like, look at him.
No, you're right. That's the thing. It's just, like, you know, it has no cuteness to it. The logo and the design, like his giant tail, man, it's bad. And it has the fucking gloves. You know what? Glover was right to make their character just an anthropomorphic cartoon character glove, because everybody fucking has them. You broke
mascotting down to its bare essentials.
You did. Every mascot has gloves, so let's just make one out of a glove. Man, this is, like, bad.
Now, the worst thing is, like, Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel is a character from Arrow the Acrobat that just got his own spin-off game.
Just cause? Not like anybody's asking for it, I'm sure. Of course not. Nobody actually wants these things, but they just kind of keep happening.
They're just, we can be Sonic. We can do it.
Yeah, we're not creatively bankrupt at all. We can be Sonic or Mario. It's fine. This one's a ninja or a kamikaze, even though we, obviously not, because it doesn't blow itself up anyway.
And it's like that weird thing where, like, yeah, this is a Japanese company, but, like, it also feels kind of like old cartoon racist, you know?
Yeah, well, the Rising Sun headband. Now, this is, of course, a Japanese company making a Japanese game.
Yeah.
And the Japanese have never been the most, of course, I'm like a white lady in Alabama saying this, so, take this with a slight grain of salt, and don't at me on Twitter. But it's not like the Japanese have been the most racially sensitive people in the history of the world. And
you're correct.
Yes, I am. And, like, the Rising Sun flag is considered by, like, especially, like, Chinese and Korean people, like, they don't like that flag, because that flag, it's kind of like the Confederate flag. Like, the Japanese were flying the Rising Sun flag when they were, like, doing horrible, horrible things to the Chinese and Koreans, right?
So, but it's like...
And so...
it's very... like, I was watching gameplay of this game, and I'm watching Zero in action, and I'm like, and his name is Zero.
Right.
Which is not a good thing.
No. And, like, it's just, like, I can definitely see that this was made by a Japanese company, for sure, because, like, the Rising... This game was ostensibly made, I guess, by the fact that it was for the Mega Drive. What is that, late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah.
So at this point, like, in Japan, it's like, no, you shouldn't fly the Rising Sun flag, because that's kind of insensitive. But here's a fucking Japanese character with a Rising Sun headband. Like, yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. Let's get away from him. Let's talk about someone different.
Oh, this is awful, too.
So the Battletoads give me a chance to not only talk about how these goons are for as far as video games go, but, like, also as far as, like, so video game mascots in the late 80s, early 90s were, hey, we can be Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
Right.
TV mascots back then were, hey, we can be the Ninja Turtles.
Right, and Battletoads is aggressively trying to be the Ninja Turtles.
Yes, Battletoads is the perfect blend of what happens when you try to do both.
Yeah, because it's, like, trying to be, like, cool, edgy, anti-Mario. And, like, they do, they've got, like, the cool smirky faces, and, like, their eyes are, like weird shapes. But also, they do kung fu, and they're green, so they're, like, the Ninja Turtles.
And they have, like, catchphrases, and, like...
Yeah. They're also wearing what looks like weird fucked up BDSM gear.
Yeah, those are some tiny pants.
That's a thong, my friend. Those aren't pants.
Now, I'm looking at this box art, and I'm also wondering, like, I know one of them is supposed to be brown. There is supposed to be a brown frog, but I do not see him.
Well, you know what? Fuck. Hold on. Box art for video games back in the days was never the most accurate thing.
No,
we had a very long conversation about Mega Man, like, 30 minutes ago.
So, and that's also what's very funny is that, like, I know this about Battletoads 1, which is that there's 3 Battletoads. There's Pimple, Sits, and Rash.
Right.
Battletoads 1 is about one of the Toads getting kidnapped because Battletoads is a 2-player game.
God. Sure.
Which I think is just kind of hilarious. That's like making a Ninja Turtles game, but it's about, like, Donatello gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
Because the arcade cabinet only has room for 3 analog sticks.
Yeah, oh my god. Sure, why not?
It is...
official Nintendo seal of quality.
Yep, they've got that. Battletoads does get a reputation for being, like, a good game that's also just very hard and, like, borderline... like, actually impossible for 2 players, actually.
Right,
because, like, you can't
cannot
beat, like, one of the levels with 2 players.
Yeah. It's like, it's got some, like, weirdness, like, coding-wise, that you just can't beat it with 2 players. You have to play it single player.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
So, what's next?
Next is...
Oh, I don't even know what this is!
I found this looking for, like, okay, what are the worst mascots? Like, just give them to me. Like, I typed in worst video game mascot character. And this one was on, like, every list. This is bad. I have so many things just to go off of. This is... First and foremost... First off, this is Awesome Possum Kicks Dr. Machino's Butt.
Was that the whole name of the game?
That's the name of the game.
That sucks. That sucks.
Now, here's what I can gather about Awesome Possum.
Okay.
For one thing, he fits in perfectly with that, boy, this game is really floaty and there's way too much going on the screen.
Right.
You might notice, like, this is the box, like the promo art for it. You might notice it says that, like, the first and only Genesis character who really talks. Yeah, he does talk through the garbled Sega Genesis speaker. He has it super compressed, voice clips that he plays.
Right.
So here's the thing. Sonic is an environmentalist game. Right?
Sure.
It is. It is.
No,
you
you're
are
right.
rescuing your forest animals from Robotnik, who is,
evil industrialist.
Industrialism, roboticism, and all that,
Right.
Awesome Possum is a game that is also environmentalist.
Oh, no.
But as a thing. Like,
okay.
It is a game about recycling.
Oh,
you don't collect coins or rings. You collect pop cans and like bottles for the recycling bin.
Oh, Ben, you have to stop.
I will never stop.
This is bad. Then this is really
look at this. So look at Awesome Possum, and then look in the background for what I'm assuming is Dr. Machino.
All the mountains of trash behind him,
and it's just Sonic and Dr. Robotnik.
It is.
It's just a very sterilized.
It's an edutainment game.
Yeah, it's sterilized and cleaned up and as non-aggressive as possible.
But here's the thing. So this is by Tengen, right? Tengen developed this game. Where was Tengen located?
I'm gonna assume they're a Jap. I don't know. They sound like this game sounds like it's a Western game.
Right, but it could be a Japanese. Tengen is a Japanese company, if I'm right.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Because here's the thing, look that up for me super fast. Tengen, I am pretty sure, is a Japanese company.
No, California.
Really? Okay, here's the thing about where I live and possums. Possums are disgusting. I hate possums. They are gross, they have weird, nasty tails, they look like horrible, chittering goblins, they eat your garbage, and they usually have rabies. Possums suck. This thing doesn't look anything like a possum. It has, a completely different tail. I know that Sonic doesn't look like a hedgehog, at all, but it still has, spiky bits, he has spiky bits the way, a hedgehog has,
Yeah.
This does not have, the gross, nasty rat tail.
So, the thing about Awesome Possum here is that, Sonic at least has spikes, and,
right.
he has pointed ears. He has things that evoke a hedgehog.
Right.
Awesome Possum does not even have the most defining feature of a possum.
Right, which is the weird tail.
He has a ringtail like a raccoon.
But that's the weird thing. So I'm like I know possums in other parts of the country or like other countries look different. Like a possum in like Europe is completely different from an American possum. So that's why I thought like Tengen is a Japanese company because like their possums are different looking maybe. But no, I think possums in California look the same as like possums here in Alabama. And so, like, this is a raccoon. That is the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. This should be Awesome Raccoon, or, like, Rowdy Raccoon, or something. But not Awesome Possum, because that is not a possum, Benjamin.
Also, why don't you take a real quick look at the rhino?
Yeah, it's not good.
But look at the rhinos have thick skin, right? You know, that's the whole thing. Look at the vice grip Awesome Possum has. Yeah, he's folding the skin inward.
Right, yeah, that's a really strong-ass possum.
How strong is this character?
This character is actually your god now. Awesome Possum is actually strong enough to beat Goku.
I also appreciate how absolutely generic Dr. Machino is.
Yeah, he's just like your most standard evil 80s villain. Like, I feel like he could be a bad guy on Captain Planet. He has no
defining features whatsoever.
He's just the bald man with the fucking cigar.
He has zero defining features whatsoever.
This sucks.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. This is like Captain Planet, but without like a catchy theme song. I don't like it. Nope.
Awesome Possum kicks Dr.
Oh, by the way,
butt. Awesome. Let me get this correctly. Butt. Awesome Possum TM kicks Dr. Machino's TM butt.
TM butt. Yeah. Yeah, wow, man. This sucks.
Alright.
Next.
Let's move on.
What the fuck is this?
I was waiting for you to get to this one.
What is this? What is this?
This is Johnny Bazooka Tone.
What the fuck is that? Man, the Sega Saturn sucked dick, and frankly,
was bad.
Frankly, Sega consoles deserve to be destroyed with all the shit I see.
I want to point this out to you. I want you to understand this. This is not concept art. This is the box.
That's the box.
This is what the box looked like.
This is like a nightmare.
This is just a character in a white void. With
like a bad blur filter.
With a handful of logos just scattered everywhere.
Yeah, what am I seeing here? There's the Sega Saturn logo, there's the other Sega Saturn logo, there's the Sega logo, there's the US Gold logo, there's the Johnny Bazooka Tone logo, and there's also the, God almighty, the official Sega seal of quality.
Yep.
Because you know how much that fucking counted for. And then like a random purple symbol in the bottom corner. I think that might be
like an amp that's cut off because there's like buttons on the front and there's like a circle for a speaker.
Oh, okay.
So I looked at gameplay of Johnny Bazooka Tone.
Oh, why would you?
And it is a side-scroller game where you have your guitar and it is a rocket launcher or whatever.
Right. That makes sense. Is that supposed to be a guitar?
I think that's supposed to be like a electric guitar thing, like a gun guitar.
Oh, sure.
It's got that very early, like, 2D game made with 3D models where, like...
Yeah.
It's just, like, very unsettling almost.
Yeah, like, I keep saying it, but really, Five Nights at Freddy's, say what you will about that franchise, they really did nail the unsettling aspect of late 90s CG models, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all have that weird jank to them that just kind of makes you feel like you're in an alternate reality where everything's a little bit grosser and grimier. Yeah. And even just looking at like this box art of Johnny Bazooka Tone.
Now kind of like we just said with Dr. Machino, like there's no defining features for Johnny Bazooka Tone.
He has a pompadour, and some sunglasses.
There's nothing on his shirt.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have like a symbol on his shirt or anything.
Yeah, he doesn't really have, like, any personality that I can see.
His hair is all one color. Like, I can assume, like, when you're playing this game, like, I don't know, maybe I missed it, but, like, going through gameplay of it, like, you would assume like he'd be like making Elvis noises, right? You know? Mm-hmm. Like, no, I didn't hear any of that.
That's weird. Yeah, and I love, we have to talk about this, includes title track featuring Richie Sambora and Tico Torres from Bon Jovi. Like, is that the most 90s thing you've ever heard in your entire life?
Not featuring Bon Jovi.
No, not Bon Jovi.
Two people from Bon Jovi.
It doesn't have John Bon Jovi. It has, like, the guitarist, and I think Tico Torres is like the drummer? Somebody is going to call me wrong on Twitter, but it's fine. Don't at me. I know Richie Sambora is the guitarist for Bon Jovi. I think Tico Torres is the drummer. Either way, it's like we got half of the members of Bon Jovi to do our title track, and that's supposed to be like a selling point.
That's supposed to be impressive.
It's such a selling point that they put it on the box. Like, they were obviously
featuring
just
Dante
desperate.
from the Devil May Cry series.
It is, except not nearly as cool. This is bad.
Okay, so internet, can we include this in the hall of featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series?
Oh my god, yes, like, and Knuckles. Yeah.
Knuckles and like Funky New Mode.
Oh my god, please.
Yes, can we just start slapping that everywhere?
Super Alpha. Oh my god, yes, we're going to have to start that. Shit.
Includes title track. I want to see that, like, on the Dark Souls box, like, along with the Funky New Mode logo, like, includes title track featuring Richie Sambora and Tico Torres from Bon Jovi.
Make it happen, Ben! Make it happen! You have a Twitter.
And you know what? And the best thing is, like, it's super easy to do because, you know, it's just trapped in this white void, so you could easily cut it out. So
easy to cut out. You could do it in 30 seconds in Photoshop, man. Oh, I hate it. Oh my god. Video games are... Man, the Sega Saturn... Sega deserved to go under for all this shit. Okay, this is vile and I hate you.
So
we're not even talking...
We talked about how, like, early CG is, like, kind of gross and grimy. Let's talk about something that actually is very gross and very grimy.
I want to spend about 10 seconds on this. And those 10 seconds I want to spend on fuck you, I hate you.
So this is Booger Man.
I hate it.
It is a very bad game for the Sega Genesis Super Nintendo. He only had one. He made an appearance in Clay Fighters. Remember Clay Fighters? No, of course you don't.
No, of course not.
You can get everything you need to get out of this character just from looking at him.
Yeah. This sucks.
This is everything. Gross. This is everything you need to know about this character. This
is somebody desperately trying to cash in on 90s gross out comedy, like Ren and Stimpy and stuff like that.
Trash Pail Kids, or was it Garbage Pail Kids?
Garbage Pail Kids. Even stuff like early 2000s, like Cat Dog had a lot of weird kind of gross out stuff in it. Kind of like trying to capitalize on that, and it's also just vile.
He also has like that very old-timey like grunge to him, where like he's got his toe poking through his shoe.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's a very like Looney Tunes like old hobo look, you know?
Yeah, is he supposed to be like a hobo hero?
I don't know. Like, I know that he's supposed to be a janitor who is a superhero.
Oh.
But like, yeah, everything about him is like very gross, and like he goes to like gross.
This logo is
like
literal. I'm literally skipping ahead to the next image because that logo is grossing me the hell out.
Yeah, the logo is very unsettling.
I don't like it.
So I mentioned that Booger Man was in Clay Fighters,
right?
He guest starred in Clay Fighters along with the next person on the slide,
which is really good box art.
Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim.
Now, say what you will about his creator.
Right.
Whose name is slipping away from me.
He's like a huge asshole, isn't he?
He is a huge asshole.
Right.
But Earthworm Jim has a great design. This box art is amazing.
This box art is really, really good. It is like the pinnacle of good 90s or early 2000s.
Like this is very like early mid 90s like
hand drawn. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like, you know, edgy, hardcore look. Like,
but it's like
but
good.
This is really good. This is really, really good. Jim's expression is great. You know, his suit has like those veins on it, but they look really good.
Yeah,
I like Jim's like he's got that very top heavy thing, you know?
Right, yeah, where he's like very shoulders but tiny little pinhead. It's really cool.
and then like this very spindly legs, but he's got those very wide, long feet.
Right.
It's a great design that translates very well into the game itself.
Yeah, the pixel art in Earthworm Jim is genuinely good. His design is so, because he's primarily white, blue, and pink for the pink for his head, and that's a really good color palette. It's different from like, you know, Mario and Sonic and even Crash kind of have similar color palettes where it's red, white, and blue, or I should say, red, blue, and yellow. You know. All of them have that in some distribution. But Earthworm Jim has a unique color palette. Pink, blue, and white is really good. And I did play Earthworm Jim 1. I didn't play 2. Because 2 is kind of famously bad. But like, the game itself uses a lot of earthy tones. Obviously, Earthworm Jim, but like the first game has a lot of like brown and green tones, things like that. And because of that, he stands out really, really well. It's a really good design.
Yeah.
And
I also like that, like, you have Jim on the box art, and he's got that very angry, you know, furrowed brow expression. And then you look above it at the 2, like the logo.
Yeah.
Very happy, goofy expression.
Right,
and so you get a great contrast of, like, what this character can do, like, expression-wise, you know?
Right, yeah. And, like, as a side note, I have actually met Tommy Tallarico, the guy who did the music for Earthworm Jim. Music in Earthworm Jim is really, really good. He's a nice guy. He's not an asshole. Tommy Tallarico is a pretty decent guy, at least when I met him.
Yeah.
But, you know, the music in Earthworm Jim is super good. Like, damn. Like, man, it's, like, really, really good. And yeah, it's, his design is really cool. Earthworm Jim is a cool concept. It's a pretty cool game. It's one of those, I wish the creator wasn't like a huge asshole, because it feels like a franchise that could be rebooted into something neat.
I feel like
wasn't a huge asshole.
Yeah, I feel like if given the right direction, there could be a reboot of Earthworm Jim, and it would work out really well.
It would be really, I think Earthworm Jim could translate really well to like modern platformer comedy games, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But we just, you know, the problem is, again, creator is an asshole. So, you can't have everything.
We have one more.
Oh boy!
And this is one, maybe you'll know him, maybe you won't.
It looks familiar, but,
this is Blinks the Time Cat.
Oh yeah, okay.
Blinks the Time Sweeper, Blinks the Time Sweeper, sorry.
Right. That was like a, it was Xbox, like, desperately trying to have a mascot character.
Yes, this was, so Crash was obviously Sony, and, you know, had some success with that one. Crash ended up being a pretty moderate success, and kickstarted, like, a bunch of other mascots, like Jack and Ratchet, and etc. Mm-hmm. Blinks went nowhere.
Blinks
is, he's trying too hard to be both Mario and Sonic at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
this is such a busy design.
It's very, very busy.
There's so much going on with this design. I guess they were like, we're on the Xbox. We have, like nicer models. Because the Xbox was pretty powerful, despite, you know, it didn't sell very well, but the original Xbox did have, you know, it had some power under the hood. Yeah. For, like, what was that? Like a 6th generation console? 7th generation console? I can't remember right now.
Yeah, I think.
I think it was 7th.
7th, because we did a podcast about the 6th.
Yeah, right. But so, like, you know, it was a 7th gen console. There was a lot of, you know, there's some fidelity you could work with, like, graphically. And, like, I guess they thought, hey, we can make this character design really ugly and really busy, and nobody will mind.
So here's my problem with him. Mm-hmm. And looking at him, he does not look action oriented.
He doesn't look like a hero. He looks like a villain character.
He's got an expression that says, like, Sonic, like, action, like, adventure stuff. But his body type, his proportions, they don't reflect that. I don't see him jumping and doing, like, action acrobat poses.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like even Mario has that like stoutness to him, but like Mario's always seen like doing something dynamic, you know, always jumping or whatever. This guy, I don't think he's getting off the ground that quickly.
No, which is weird because he's a cat, and that's kind of our thing. But, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I think part of it is the clunkiness of whatever his little time thing...
sweeper thingy is? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's time vacuum?
Yeah, it's time vacuum. It does look like a vacuum cleaner, doesn't it?
I think that's what it is, because he's the time sweeper, so, like, he's cleaning up.
I don't know. I didn't play this one.
Yeah.
I missed it. It's a bad design, especially because it has that 7th gen console generation, like the weird, ugly shininess in his model.
It's everywhere. It's so aggressive. Look at how many reflections he has.
Yeah, it's bad. Like on his clothes. Like what's on his shoes?
Like his shoes are super shiny, and I don't know what he's like. Is that like a city?
What's reflecting on his shoe? Hold on, we're gonna zoom in. We're gonna enhance.
Zoom.
Enhance. I still can't fucking tell. I think it's like a city or something.
Those look like buildings. It looks like if you look at the time sweeper thingy, like where the clock is, there's like a building design to it.
And he is like, it's like a reflection of himself. Like it's just way too detailed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, man, there's just, it's so busy and there's so much going on and the design itself is like way too shiny and they were just, they didn't quite, they were like, well, like, he's like a platformer mascot, right? So he's gotta be blue and he's gotta have some red and some white in him. And then they were like, well, let's also put in some yellow and some green and some orange. Like, there's so much information going on.
He's gotta be reflective and he's
because we're on the Xbox and we can do fancy things like reflections.
We can do reflections and like mirrors and all that and...
Yeah.
I don't know what they were trying to go for everything with this guy.
Yeah, it's another one of those like really highly focus tested mascots like Sonic, but unlike Sonic it just didn't work.
Like I mentioned with like Awesome Possum, like he's a very sterilized Sonic, you know, there's nothing like even classic Sonic had the spikes on him and he had that. And around this time we would have had like the modern Sonic design would have come out where he's more angular and he's more like
tall.
And then we get this dumpy looking guy.
Yeah. No, it's one of those. It's funny. We can kind of look at a mascot design pretty often and tell almost from the word go like which games were successful and which weren't. You know, like just going back through this list real quickly, you can really tell like who succeeded and who failed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just, just because, like, the ones that succeeded, like, they had a good idea of what makes a simple, identifiable mascot design, and the ones that failed just feel like derivatives of the successful ones. Like,
for sure,
It's pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
that's, that's a lot of mascots, a lot of failures, and
so okay, to wrap this up, which one is your favorite and which one is your least favorite of our little list of friends?
Okay, so I think on this list, I really actually
hard, right?
It's really hard. I know my least favorite.
Yeah, which one?
I think Johnny Bazooka Tone is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because Johnny Bazooka Tone is on the Saturn, and they should know better by now.
Yeah, the other ones are like, they were still figuring it out.
Johnny Bazooka Tone looks like he's like someone's first attempt at like rigging a model. And he was, like, always meant to be, like, just a test model to, like, try things out on.
Mm-hmm. Like, he was never supposed to actually get a game. But, somehow they were like, shit, we have this platformer. We need to come up with something really fast and just put it out in time for Christmas and maybe trick some grandma into buying this game for their kid. And that's how Johnny Bazooka Tone came to be. Yeah,
like,
I feel
he's just some student's, like, test model to test, like, some rigging animations. And they're like, oh, make a game out of him.
Yeah, fuck, we just needed US Gold made a game out of them.
You know what? I'm going to be unoriginal here, and I'm just going to say that Mario's probably. I think he's got one of the strongest designs ever.
Well, there's a reason he's been around for like 30 years. You know,
Mario's whole design is just immediately recognized. Like, there's no. He's like Mickey Mouse. You know, he's like you immediately tell exactly what this character is about right away.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he fits. He's one of those characters that fits into any category. You can just drop him into any world, and he'll fit in.
Right. I think I'm going to be unoriginal too, or at least be predictable, considering what I got the most enthusiastic about in this podcast. I really have to give it to Jack and Daxter, like as a duo, as like my favorite. I love the designs in that world. I love their designs. All three designs, they're really solid.
They are very strong designs, for sure.
They're so strong, and even though Jack has a new design in every single game, there's enough of a design through line from all the way from Jack and Daxter to Jack X, which actually, despite being just like an okay kart racer game, has some pretty solid designs in it.
Yeah.
There's like a really good through line from there to Jack X that is still keeps the character like super identifiable. Like no matter how many like different design iterations it goes through, you still have like a very, very solid design. And part of it is, again, the fact that Naughty Dog has a really great sense for like designs that feel like they exist in the real world and feel like very solid and grounded.
Looking at both the new Crash design for the Insane Trilogy and looking at this Jack drawing now, like, I really wish Naughty Dog would go back to doing cartoons.
I would trade you for a new Jack game by Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would trade you in a heartbeat, friend. Yep. No offense. But, because, like, shit, that would be so good. Are you kidding me? Sure. As for worst,
it's hard.
Just as revolted as and it's not even the design. Maybe it's not Boogerman, because the design is so boring and generic, but that logo revolts me so much. I think I'm gonna have to say Johnny Bazooka Tone as well.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Just of like all of like every other one of these, at least other than Boogerman, and that's just because it's so like boring and generic, right?
Right.
Like every other one of these designs feels like an attempt to do maybe not to be original, but to at least put their own personal spin on a concept, you know? Like, it still feels like they made some kind of attempt.
Even the busy ones like Blinks or
Awesome Possum, you know?
They still look like something.
They still look like somebody tried at some point in the process. Johnny Bazooka Tone, like you said, looks like somebody's like college demo reel character, you know?
Like he looks like he came with the software.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's the guy that he's all modeled up, and all you can do is like if you have to test a skeleton rigging, like here's the guy to do it on.
Right, yeah. It's so bad. It's just so bad and so boring and so aggressively. It's like both boring and aggressively ugly at the same time. Yeah. You know? I hate it. So that's 2 votes for Johnny Bazooka Tone, which truly makes it the worst design in this little slideshow you've put together, my friend.
There's tons I've forgotten. I know. There's so many. Like, mascot characters are...
Yeah,
there's so many out there.
And please, God, on Twitter, tell us more. Tell us. I mean, we briefly talked about the 6th generation polygon head guy for the PlayStation 1 back when we did that episode, and he's super bad. I mean, there's just so many examples of just really, like, we didn't talk about, like, Tomba or, so many, like, weird, like...
Hockey and Rocky, and...
a lot of the Japanese mascots, like Bomberman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mostly because, like, those designs aren't so bad that they deserve commenting upon. They're just kind of like they exist, you know?
Yeah.
These are some, really bad
I want you to send me all of the obscure animals that you can find. I want all of them.
Please, I could collect them. Just everybody desperately trying to make a Sonic, yeah?
Yeah, I want all of them, every single one.
Well, God. Still, man.
Oh, video games.
Oh, video games. These shitty mascots. I hate so many of them. Alright, we gotta shut it down. We gotta shut it down.
We gotta wrap up. We're done here.
I'm still staring at this Johnny Bazooka Tone image. I'm like, I hate it!
So ugly. Alright, so you can follow us on Twitter at The Gorge Podcast, that's where you can send us all of them. All your mascots, or you can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. Sarah's going to tell you about our other podcast, which doesn't have any mascots in it.
Not that I'm aware of. I guess maybe, like, Ian Othar is, like, our mascot, because he's just so, like, extra. I don't know. I'm going to tell him I told you that. Anyways, hey, I'm in another podcast. It's called Big Gay Nerds. It's an LGBT live play RPG podcast, where me and a bunch of cool friends sit around and we test out different systems of tabletop games, and we have a lot of fun doing it. You should come check us out. We're on SoundCloud at Big Gay Nerds. We're on Twitter at Big Gay Nerds. Yeah, thanks.
Alright, and so that'll do it for us. Well, this one's easy. Man, fuck Johnny Bazooka Tone.
No, fuck the Booger Man logo, because it really is like it has like I've had like 3 drinks in the course of this podcast, and I feel like nauseous now that I think about it. So fuck that, and fuck you for making me look at it. So yeah, good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.